because we're back home. We have this little tiny baby daughter that was just born, and we don't have jobs because we were planning on going back to Uganda with her. But for years, I'd always been thinking about Mountain Tough because of our elk hunting experience and because of our fitness and running experience. I always saw this real huge opportunity for mission specific training for the backcountry hunter. And in 2016 is when we started. And in 2016, like no one was creating any sort of mission specific training for the backcountry hunters. So that had always been an obvious blue ocean opportunity that I was keeping my eye on, because like all elite sporting organizations and the military, anyone who's taking things to that next level is doing some variation of mission specific training. So they're not just training to train, they're training specifically for a specific reason to accomplish a specific goal. And in 2016, when we were kind of stuck on the ground, no one in the country was doing that at all for the backcountry hunter. And I had seen enough guys come out west and like get crushed by the backcountry, get crushed by elevation, that I knew there was a demand for that. And so it started really bootstrapped. We were home with our daughter, and I was like, all right, I got no plan B, which I like now, because it was kind of like that burn the ships. It was like, this has to work. And we created the logo. So the Mountain Tough logo, I wrote on a napkin. My buddy, who's a graphic designer, turned it into our logo that's still the same today. And I created a flyer, and this is an old school flyer with like, you tear off the phone number at the bottom.
Hell yeah. You like post it up at the bus stop. There's like
15 little tabs.
Yeah.
It has like the puppies for sale next to it, and like the firewood guy, and then like me with like the
firewood guy. Yep.
So
that was the initial marketing plan, huh? The flyers with the tearaway tabs.
That's the customer acquisition.
That's right
there.
That's what got us off the ground, was that flyer. And it said, it had the logo, and then it said, looking to train backcountry hunters. And I only hung like 3 of them up. I hung them up at the bow shops here in Bozeman.
Okay.
And it started, I got like 3 phone calls, and I started training 3 guys in the park behind my house. So, because I still didn't even have a gym or anything. So we just were training in the park, and we were doing like lunges across the soccer field and pull-ups on the monkey bars. And then the park sessions started to explode. So like it went from 3 guys to pretty soon I had like 3 park sessions a day with like 20 people each. And then we moved into our first ever gym. And when we moved into our first ever gym, like that's when Mountain Tough exploded locally. So it was really obvious that locally there was a demand for this concept, for this like mission specific backcountry concept. And so all of 2016, it was just this local Bozeman, Montana. If you want to train for the backcountry, you go to Mountain Tough. And we were running a bunch of classes and had an amazing local community. And then in 2017 is when the catalyst events started to happen. So in 2017, I assembled the founding team of Mountain Tough, because that first year it was just me. And that first year I knew that to be consistently successful in the backcountry, you have to almost have more mental toughness than you do physical fitness. So like everyone I knew and everyone that we had studied, like the consistent guys, the guys that are like successful on archery elk for like 10, 20 years, their mental toughness, like their grit and their will is way stronger than someone who's not getting it done. So I knew that mental toughness had to be like the key cornerstone of our entire brand. And so that original team that I assembled, we had a Army Ranger, we had a Navy SEAL, and then we had a legendary Bozeman personal trainer that was helping a lot of the like local legends on like K2 trips, Everest trips, and then myself. And we got in a room and we're like, we got to take this online for the world to see, because obviously locally there's a demand for it. So 2017, we built that team and we built the first online program, and we put it online just on a website. There was no app back then. And we put it on a website. You could access Mountain Tough, Backcountry Hunter preseason prep. We just had one program. You paid $300 for it, and it just exploded. It was like the market was kind of like sitting there waiting for it the whole time, because no one had ever offered like a step-by-step plan to be like successful on a sheep hunt, successful on a goat hunt. And everyone knew they should probably be training for those trips, but they didn't know how. So it just kind of took off from there, and it's been the same ever since.